Hi folks, today I'd like to talk about how to go ahead and buy houses using a system so you can make a lot of offers without spending a lot of time, and only look at those properties after the seller has accepted your offer. And the only way to do that is by finding a great realtor. Now there's two categories of realtors. There are the superstars that are multi-million-dollar producers, and they are about 5% of the brokers that are out there. And then you're going to have the non-superstars, and those are going to be new people, those that aren't doing so well, and that makes up about 95% of the realtor population. Guess what? You want to be working with the superstars because, number one, they're going to have systems in place. They're going to know how to negotiate. They're going to be able to go ahead and make offers that will be accepted, and they'll do it a lot better than someone that doesn't know what they're doing. So what are you looking for in a realtor? Number one, they're going to be hard to find. When you go into a real estate office, someone that's sitting behind the desk and just sort of doing nothing and says, "Oh, I can help you, I'm the next one up." That's not who you want to talk with. You want to go ahead and do your research and find out who the top producers are in your area and interview one of those. How do you find them? Go to realtor.com. Talk to your local real estate board and find out who the top 5 or top 10 producers are in your area by dollar volume, and find out which ones are doing your type of real estate. You've got residential real estate, you've got commercial real estate, you have REOs, REO producers, you have realtors that are just interested in doing raw land, some of them are interested in doing other types of things. Find one that specializes in your niche and then talk with them, which means you're going to have to do a little bit of work. You can't just look at a billboard and get someone. Number two, you want to find someone that's a multi-million-dollar producer. Why am I going to care if they're a multi-million-dollar producer? You want someone that does this full time. And you're going to say, well, doesn't everybody make a living as a realtor? No. The superstars make an awful lot of money. The 95% do not. And let's look at a commission. If the commission is 6% on $1 million sales, that means they made $60,000. But do they put $60,000 in their pocket? No. Typically, they're either going to be the buying agent or the selling agent, so they're going to have to split that commission 50-50 with the other, either the buyer or the selling agent. Now they're down to $30,000. Also, unless they own the business, they're going to have to split that with a broker. Typically, you have a 50-50 split with a broker. Now you're down to, instead of $30,000, now you're down to $15,000. A person can't live on $15,000, and that's their gross. From that, they had to pay advertising expenses. They had to pay their gas. They had to pay their cell phone. They had to pay their utilities. They had to pay for their mortgage. So unless you have someone that is making at least doing multi-million dollars in production each year, they're not going to be able to go ahead, and they're not going to be able to afford to be in the business. Could you take someone that's brand new and teach them? Absolutely. But if you're not willing to teach them, I would prefer getting somebody that's a little bit more experienced. Number three, you're looking for someone that has assistants. Why do I want someone that has assistants? If they can afford to pay an assistant, they're in the business and they're doing well. If they don't have assistants, probably they're just barely eking by. That's a good indicator if they have assistants. Number four, you want someone that is willing to work with you. Now, why would they be willing to work with you? I'm glad you asked. You need to show them how this is going to benefit them. You want to, before you go in and talk with a realtor, get your pre-qualification, pre-approval lined up, and have a letter from your broker, from your mortgage broker / lender, showing them that you've already been pre-approved for X amount of money. They've checked your income, they've checked your credit, they've checked your assets. You're good to go. The only thing you need is an address to put on the contract. That's what they're looking for. You want to go ahead and tell him, this is how I want to work this. Number one, this is exactly the criteria I'm looking for in the subject property house. This many bedrooms, this many bathrooms, this large. If you've got a special concern, whether it's a large kitchen, a pool, a spa, whatever, you want to go ahead and set those up so that they can look at this and say, I know exactly what you're looking for. List the age of the house. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what size, what school district, what neighborhoods. You want to go ahead and be as specific as you possibly can so that they can go ahead and look at this and put in their search parameters and give you exactly what you want. Hopefully they'll give you 20 to 30 properties. And that is when you're going to do your homework. You're going to go through and do your online research. Go to Zillow.com, Zillow.com, or ePraisal.com. Once you put in the address, put in the information, you'll find subject properties, you'll find comparable properties. Guess what? They had to be comparable, which means same size, same age, same number of bedrooms and same number of bathrooms, within 2 to 5 miles of the subject property, and maybe even closer than that. And once you have those, you're going to have an indication of what those properties are worth. Now, if you find that this is a unique property, walk away. Why do I say that you don't buy a unique property? If you're looking to buy a unique property, you're not going to have any comps because it's a unique property. And so this isn't going to work for a unique property. And any type of valuation that you have, it's not going to work in the system. So walk away at this time if you want to work this system. Then what you want to do is you want to decide what price that you want to pay for the property. Let's use $100,000 for a nice round number. If it's worth $100,000, let's say that you make an offer and you want to offer 30 or 40% below that, you'd make your offer for $70,000 or $60,000. You would then contact the agent, contact your realtor, and say, I'm ready to make the offer. Now, before you get started here, what I would suggest is you sign the contracts. And with Florida, you have a FAR contract, which is 7 pages. And the first page has who the buyer is, who the seller is, what the address is, and what type of price that you're offering. You want to go ahead and sign pages 2 through 6. Page number 7 has all the signatures, and have an addendum page. And then once you have that, you can go ahead and contact the realtor and say, this is the property address, this is the price. He'll fill out page number 1 and page number 7, fax or email it over to you. You fill it out, fax or email it back to him or her. They present it to the seller. The seller will say yes or no, or they'll counter. When they do that, this is what you would do. Number one, once they say yes or no or counter, that is when you go out and take a look at the properties. Don't look at a property until the seller said yes. Whoa, why would you not take a look at a property until the seller said yes? Because if you do it in this manner, you can look at 20, 30 properties online, get all the information, you make an offer, and you're only looking at those properties where the seller said, yes, I'm interested, go ahead and go forward with this. Well, what happens if the seller says yes, and let's say you get 3 or 4 properties? You're going to have weasel clauses in there so that you can go ahead and get out of the deal if you don't like it. But if you're making these offers 30-40% below market value and they're in pretty good shape and there's nothing really wrong with the property, why wouldn't you want it? Maybe it doesn't fit your needs. Maybe you say, nah, I like it, but not really, it's not for me. You have it under contract, you can then assign the contract over to somebody else. And now you can make a quick $5,000 relatively easily if you're ready to go. Finally, once the realtor has accepted the fact that they would be a good fit with you, this is where you want to go ahead and say, great, we're going to go ahead and work together. Be loyal to them. You're going to have other realtors that are going to say, hey, work with me. If you're working with one realtor, stay with them. But interview them, find out the best realtor, and go from there.